Alright. It is time for game 2 of this week's Fighting Retreat Icyfar, where players had to get in their opponent's face, get some map control, get out on the map, and then fall back and pull them into their layers of bullshit. Whether that be splash damage, disruptors, stasis traps. I was actually hoping someone went mass stasis traps. I'm kind of hoping our protoss player down here does it, because that is one of the most frustrating things, is if someone just spams stasis traps all over the map and keeps luring you into them, it can actually make your brain explode. It can make you so upset. Down here at the bottom right, representing the Protoss play and making my job as a commentator so easy, it is Christidishage. That's right. I'm not even making a joke this time. I'm not being facetious. I'm not hamming it up. That is Christidishage. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, Christidishage goes in for the... He's going for the cannon rush. Come on, Christidishage. What the fuck? How do you name yourself Christidishage? Please tell me that means something in another language. Is this going to be like Cockschlumpf? Do you guys remember Cockschlumpf? Up there with Flappy Najib in terms of famous Icyfar names I've cast that just stick deep in my brain. Ooh, gonna go with the gas steel. Nice move by Christidishage. It is, of course, Snow. We're just gonna call them Snow. There's a pylon on the high ground. Are you gonna cannon the main base? What exactly is this? My favorite thing here is the Zerg player, who literally is like, yep, you stole a gas. There's 2 probes in my base that are a little suspicious. Maybe I'll pull 1 drone. Yeah, that should be able to, maybe 3 or 4 more. Yeah, still haven't noticed the actual pylon. Oh my God, Zerg players. Cannon Rush is so hard to beat. Normally I pull 2 workers, and somehow it doesn't magically defend itself. Meanwhile, Christidishage is like, lol. Is it meant to be like Crusty Discharge, but in another language? Is that what it... Oh, is it Crusty Discharge? It kind of is, isn't it? Oh, gross. I just realized. Well, I'm going to keep calling him Christidishage. I'm not going to say Crusty Discharge repeatedly. That's disgusting. Why is it crusty if it's also discharge? That's gross. Oh, this probe's going to go down. Great micro from Crusty Discharge. Jesus Christ. Oh, Snow's in trouble though. Okay, so no gas mining. It's just building Zerglings and Queens. So I think we're going to see someone trying to bust out of this with no spines and only slow Zerglings. If those Zerglings come around the right, they can get good surface area on that cannon. They can wrap around that, especially if the Queens go in first to tank. So Snow looks like he's going to try to deal with this. He's going to complement the opponent. So neat. Is this like neat, go kill yourself neat? Or is this... Oh, cool. Oh, you tricked me with the pylon up here, and then you got the cannon rush. Well done, man. That's a really good... I'm going to try that sometime. So, are we thinking a real neat or a go kill yourself neat? Let me know in chat what you guys think. I'm thinking a bit more of a fuck you. You don't play the game correctly. You're bad. Fuck you, Protoss. I'm thinking it's in that range. Just playing the odds on this one. Oh, it's good, guys. We've got my auto mod has just gone off the chain. About 10 people in chat all tried to describe what Crusty Discharge could be to me in chat, and I think I'm okay with the auto mod catching all of those, guys. Just saying, contain yourselves. It's okay, I get it. I've seen Crusty Discharges before. I have been on the internet. I don't want to talk too much about them, and you don't need to describe them in chat. It's okay. They're like, no. Like, you know, if it's been coming out of the... And then there's like been sitting there for a bit, it's all, you know, and then it starts to crust up a little. No, stop. It's enough. I don't need to hear any more. Deep breaths, guys. Deep breaths. No more descriptions of Crusty Discharge, please. It's disgusting. That being said, this here is stuck in the back of the Zerg Natural. Can't get rid of it. It's a bit gross. The longer you leave that, the higher chance of a Protoss yeast infection. Let's be real. You should be cleaning up this sort of Crusty Discharge before too. God damn it, Pig. I can't contain myself, can I? I have 0 self-control. The Queens are going to come forward. They're going to try and take out the pylons. Oh, this... You know Queens don't do damage, right? Oh, no. Oh, and all the Zerglings, they're going for the pylons? Oh, no. Oh, this is turning into a full-blown yeast infection. They start attacking the pylons, but they don't finish it. Are they finally going to remove this? Yes, they are, but not without a whole lot of consequences. Oh, that's embarrassing. And was so occupied... Sees a cannon there and he's like, oh, shit, get over there. Gotta stop it right now. Come on, Snow. Don't just die to the cannon rush. Okay, is gonna get on top of that pylon. I think that pylon goes down before these cannons finish. Cannons are about to finish. The pylon is so low. Is this going to go down? The cannon starts shooting. Just click on the other pylon and you are fine. Just click on the other pylon and you are fine. Okay, it's enough. It's enough. The A move does it. The cannons go down. Pylon gets cancelled and it is a hold. Snow holds 2 bases. This infection up there has been depowered. Probably needs a bit of follow-up to make sure it's all good. You know, hygiene is always good. No such thing as too clean, if you ask me. But the opponent's already got oracles out. And speedlings are going to come in. There is a cannon and a full wall off, though. So are we going to go for what we call the zerg headbutt, where you try to just click up the ramp and are like, they're all dying. Let's see how long Snow commits to this before realizing it's not a good idea. 2 zerglings, 3 zerglings. Oh, let's click on the cyber core. Yeah, that doesn't have many hit points at all. Ooh, ooh. Oh my god. Oh god. What could possibly possess you to do that? Meanwhile, a stasis trap freezes 3 drones. Every single zergling goes down, and check it out. 40 hit points. It did 40 hit points of damage to that cyber core. 20 zerglings for 40 hit points off a cyber core. I'd pay that any day. Well done. Oh, what is it with zerg players? If you fuck with a zerg player's opening, I swear their favorite thing to do is just headbutt into the worst possible location over and over again. Has no idea, by the way, that there is a double rich gas base. For those who don't know, this is 2 rich gas geysers. That's the equivalent of basically having like 3.5 normal geysers plus the 2 in the main. So this player is barely on 1.5 mineral lines, but is on 3 base gas right now, and is trying to take another rich gas. I've done this before. Trust me, there is no way to actually spend the gas off all 4 of these rich geysers. You need to have like 110 probes mining minerals to actually make use of that. Already over 1,000. Crusty discharge here is, Jesus. Christy discharge. Christy Dishage. We're going back to Christy Dishage. I can only say the other one so many times before I get too many gross mental images. So Christy Dishage up against Snow. Snow is finally clearing up the natural, puts some snow down there, pads it down to cover up that wound. He's got some gases up here. Has actually got a decent economy at 36 drones, considering the start was so brutal. Spores are going to do well. Oh, is the stasis going to get off? It does get 2 drones, but the Oracle falls, and this one queuing in range. You even knew the Spore Crawler was there, you Christy Dishage. Flies back through the other Spore as well. We are talking about pure high-level micro here from these Oracles. And that's a big cost, because remember, guys, each Oracle costs 150 gas, and there's only literally unlimited more gas where that came from. So Christy Dishage is going to have trouble reinforcing these Oracles, except for the fact where they're not. Now, this is my favorite part, guys. Remember, Oracles don't benefit from flyer attacks. So whenever you're massing Oracles, it's important to get flyer attacks just to show the casters you don't know how the units work. Pig, he's preparing for the transition in the late game. Sure, chat. It's all right. That's fine. Yeah, I'm sure the player who's building cannons and Oracles totally knows how to play the game. Yep, for sure, guys, sure. Stasis traps now being set up everywhere. So Christy Dishage hasn't been so much a fighting retreat as I guess it kind of has, right? It was an assimilator and a pylon on the high ground into, haha, the real cannons were here. And then while they were getting cleaned up, haha, the real cannons were here, right? There's been layers of fuckery, you know, and now he's setting up more layers of fuckery. You know, looking for the map control, looking for the stasis traps, is going to try and lure these units into these at some point. Now, I do wonder what comes in after the Oracles, though. Is it just going to be more Oracles or potentially more Oracles? We've got 4 rich gases. These 2 have not started mining yet because there's 1,600 gas in the bank. Do we go for a 47 Archon transition after this, perhaps? Maybe? Not quite sure. Snow is still just chilling with no idea of what's going on, by the way. This is pretty much your typical Zerg scouting, right? Well, I have one Overlord outside your base. It's on the pillar. Actually, it's not quite on the pillar, Snow. So I could basically see everything that's going on. Okay, Zerg. Well, you know he's massing at Oracles, right? Yep, that's why I'm building roaches. And I'm like, oh, because he's going anus? Because I always build roaches. And I'm like, but you know they don't shoot up. They're roaches. It's part of my build. I always build them. Okay. Well, we are seeing Hydras now, so we shouldn't be too harsh on Snow, who no doubt has a large brain. Because let's be fair, if you build roaches, you probably have a pretty good win rate as a Zerg player. It's a good thing to just do. Kind of like making units that shoot lasers as protoss. or being a bit of a fuck-knuckle if you're a cheeser and telling your opponent to get out of the game. Just making sure they know when they've lost, not waiting for them to realize, but making sure they have constant reinforcement of that fact by you typing in chat and also then telling them about your date with their mum the night before. I mean, because you don't know you're truly facing a cheesy scumbag until they start telling you about how they treated your mum to a lovely steak dinner, took her out to a nice restaurant, made her feel great, gave her some flowers and shit as well, were a real gentleman. And you're always waiting for the penny to drop. You're like, this guy keeps fucking massing oracles. And he's like, no, she's a lovely woman. And you're like, what's he going to say? No, oh, she's fantastic. And it's like 37 minutes into him describing the fucking date, how they connected on an emotional level, and he thinks they're going to have a long relationship and see each other again. You simply realize he's not playing that I fucked your mum and she's fat or something. He's going for the long one. Christy Dissage is going to go for the, no, I'm going to be your stepdad now. Like, I'm talking, it's going to be like, no, I love her, and you're my child now, and I really care for you, and I'd like us to get along, and you got to get used to me being around, Sonny Jim. Meanwhile, Snow's like, get the fuck out, you dirty Skytoss piece of shit. Wait. Do we still not know? Okay, finally, an Overlord sees, and he's like, oh, he does have 2 bases. Oh, shit, I thought I was on 4 base first 1. Oh, no. Turns out he actually has more than I realized. Uh-oh, no muscular augments. These Hydras don't have running shoes. Oh, shit, they're wearing their stilettos. No. Where the fuck did you gotta run faster than that, buddy. Comes past and sees another expansion. At this point, I think Snow, we're gonna go to Snow's camera, because I really walks into Stasis Trap there. And there. All right, we're gonna go on Snow's camera. At this point, it's gonna slowly dawn on Snow how fudged this position is. There is a ton of Oracles, Tempests, and Carriers coming across the map. Snow is like supply block to all hell. Is trying to build 14 more Hydras, but half of them are frozen right now. These Hydras are all getting separated. They don't have muscular augments. They can't run quick. Oh no. The Oracles take them a few at a time. The Queens come in. They were meant to tank for the Hydras, but now they're all dying on their own. Okay, trying to regroup his Snow. Snow's like, where the fuck did all this come from? How long has he had these bases? Oh, this is some bullshit, man. And now we are going to see a true fighting retreat, and that lures them up the ramp. The Carriers and the Tempest try to hold on. Stasis Trap's going behind. Pull back. You got to do the fighting retreat. Don't just win the fight. Actually, the Interceptors are gone, so you really need to pull back right now. Those Carriers don't have any Interceptors, mate. Christy Dissage showing some truly fantastic micro. I'm starting to think Christy Dissage may actually be a Protoss player who isn't even a human. May actually be some sort of single-celled organism that has actually evolved out of the Christy Dissage, if you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about something that's grown on the infection of that cannon rush in the early game. Didn't pull those units back at all. This wasn't a fighting retreat. This was, let's fucking throw my army away in front of the trap, and once it's dead, he'll run into the trap. You could have pulled back half a screen and had the sickest engagement of all time. But instead, you're just kind of like, well, I am a microbe that somehow figured out how to play Protoss. And I'm like, how are you even controlling this? And he's like, well, the evolution of a truly fertile Christy Dissage is amazing. And the Carriers are now coming in, and you can notice people are like, well, come on. A micro wouldn't be able to control these units. Pretty sure it's F2A move, guys. I don't think you need opposable thumbs to play this sort of Protoss. You don't need thumbs or anything. You literally, as long as it's like, it could be a piece of mold on the keyboard, moldy, yeasty infection. As long as it goes from F2 to A, I think it could probably manage this cannon rush into Carriers. Let's be real. All the Terrans and Zergs are like, yeah, it's true, it doesn't take skill. When I make my 80 Marines and I move command them into Storm, it's because I'm as good as Hero Marine, basically. But these Protoss players with their flying units, they just did an F2 and A move. I'm with you guys. I'm on your side. I'm absolutely backing up your delusions. I mean, totally accurate analysis of the fact. It's just a move, hasn't been macroing like a beast or spamming stasis traps all over the map. Remember, Christy Dissage truly is just a yeast infection on a keyboard. That's essentially what we're watching play this game of StarCraft. To be fair, the carrier micro does continue to back up my hypothesis on that, as single carriers engage one at a time, but this time actually clumps the army up. Yet another stasis trap comes in. Snow here, going for the Hydra headbutt over mass shield battery, Void Ray carrier. I don't think this is going to end well for the Zerg, guys. Even though there's only +1 attack and +1 armor for the Protoss up against 2-2. Those 2-2 upgrades doing great, but the Queens, I think, needed to be up front. Those shield batteries did a massive amount of work healing those Void Rays. And we've not only got 6 Chads, but a pack of carriers behind them. And at this point, I think Snow may have been taken to Fudge Town. Unlike some sort of happy place like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, Fudge Town, no, it is not a chocolate shop where they let you eat all the chocolate that you want. It is a much more messed up place where they go, yes, would you like to see what it's like to make the chocolate fudge? And you go, yeah, that sounds great. Can I sample it? They go, oh, yes, you'll be the sample. And you go, what? And they go, no, no, no. And then they fucking shove you in a vat of fudge. You guys thought I was going somewhere else with that, didn't you? Yes. No fudge. They're being packed into the fudge. The fudge is not being packed into them, you sick bastards in Twitch chat. The carriers and Void Rays, not to mention Mama coming forward. Mama does take a bit of a bruising. Mama's got to pull out of there, but she is cloaking all those units. The Overseers finally provide detection, and the 2 Hydralisks there to take advantage of it. Unfortunately, unable to take out the max Protoss army. Snow says, holy fuck, still has no idea about these bases on the left-hand side, and it turns out scouting is truly an overrated skill. Queen's Hydra is unable to take it on. I can't believe I lost to this shit. Holy fuck, so fucking bad. And for those who voted with me earlier, it was indeed the kill yourself. Comes in at the very end there with the chat. And, you know, we all knew. We were like, because what was it? It was neat, right? It was just neat. That was all he said at the start, right? Neat. We were like, there's no way that man is going, oh, neat. That's a great play. That's really interesting. I should try. There was no way. No one just says neat. Neat. Great strategy. Fantastic. It's more like freaking flecks of spit coming out of your mouth. Fucking neat. And we did see this Zerg player in the end very happy with how that went. And yeah, Christy Dissage comes in here and dominates. I love the stasis traps all over the map. I love the layers of cannon rushes. And I also love the fact that no one got the retreat orders in the fighting retreat. There's something about that engage there where it's like, cool, it's putting down the stasis, now pull back behind it. And the carriers just sat there with no interceptors, like, The Tempest as well. I'm like, this is the unit that literally is designed to only do a fighting retreat, is the Tempest. The Tempest just sat there and tried to fight the Hydras head on, and I was like, you've got 14 stasis traps just behind your position. Can you imagine, like, being one of those Tempests or carriers? It's like you're in World War I, and the officer's like, we need to stand in front of the trench and line up like we did back in the days of muskets. You know where they do the three guys, the 3-rank muskets, where like the guys in front shoot, and then like, you know, the other guys stand behind them and shoot, and then they crouch, and then they reload, and the guys behind them shoot, and then they rinse and repeat, right? So they can actually get, since they take like a good minute to reload, so that they can have like constant fire coming out. It was like that, except you're like, but sir, we've got a trench just behind us. Can we shoot from inside the trench? And he's like, this was good enough to take on the Zulus, and it'll be good enough to take on those Hun Germans. And you're like, but sir, they have machine guns and artillery. And he's like, are you a coward or are you a proud British soldier? And you're like, but sir, I'm not sure if standing outside of the... And he's like, cowards, huh? And he makes you all line up, and the first artillery blast and machine gun fire literally murders your entire battalion. That's what happened. And then the enemy charged into the trench and died to the backup units, which was... good to see that Christy Dissage there, a fantastic name, does end up taking down the opponent the true way that a yeast infection would play StarCraft. GG, well played, Christy Dissage. Thanks for that replay, guys. Don't forget to support the Patreon if you want to go above and beyond to support the channel. Those of you who've already hopped on, a massive thanks from my heart for you guys for joining the Pigsty. The information is down below in the description. Give it a click, join up, and we'll see you in the next video. Good night.